Hi, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our first session together. If you can hear me clearly, please say hello in the comments. If you can see me and hear me clearly, could you please say hello in the comments? Hi, everybody. Where is everyone? Can you hear me? If you can hear me and see me clearly, could you please comment in the chat so I can know you can hear me clearly? Hi, Mr. Toyin. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for being here. If you are here in class, could you please drop a comment so we can start immediately? We are far behind schedule. We had to wait for a lot of you to join in before we begin. If you are here, say hello so we can begin. Once we have 3 people on the call, or about 4, then we can begin. Chidima, are you here? Hi, Favor. Welcome. Where is Mrs. Omolayo? Yay! Just the person I was asking after. Welcome. Good evening, madam. Where's Miss Daisy? Where is Mrs. Zara? Where's everyone? Let us begin. Miss Sally, are you here? We'll wait for 2 minutes for 1 or 2 more people to join, and then we can begin. Can you hear me clearly? Can you leave in the comments that you can hear me? Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I need feedback, please. I want the class to be as interactive as we can possibly get it to be. Hi, yeah, Mrs. Obolaye, confirm that you can hear me clearly. It's my audio clear, it's my voice clear enough, pitch loud enough. Please confirm, and in 1 minute precisely, we'll begin tonight's session. I'm waiting for your comments. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me loud and clear. We will begin immediately. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. You're welcome to the very first session of the Reinvention and Self Mastery program. Tonight's session is basically about introducing you to the coursework, walking you through the model to make you familiarize you with what we'll be working on for the next quarter or 12 weeks precisely. In the group chat, I've left for you the model, a picture of the model. It has about 10 parts in total, and we're going to walk you through them. But let's first and foremost begin with the requirements for the course. Before that, for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Loretta Itama. I am a I am a mom of three. I am an associate family systems engineering practitioner. This blueprint came about when some people asked how they could go from where they were right now to where they want to be. As a person who has traveled that journey herself, I thought it wise to put together something that could help you facilitate that move. Haven't gotten that out of the way, we're going to need the following materials. We posted a list in the group chats earlier, I think earlier this week or maybe sometime last week, but we'll be going through it together. I hope it's not, oh no, it's upside down. The Power of Now, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. You are going to be needing that. The book is about 191 pages, and it's a very good read. Can you see the print? Because it's almost the spacing is okay, the prints are clear and fine. It's something you can read on the go, like when you're on transit, you're waiting between appointments and all. You can read those. Because we'll just begin, I want us to grow into the habit of reading. You can do 10 pages a day, like 10 pages, like you're snacking on your book. It is very compulsory. You can't want to go on a reinvention journey and not read. So if you are one of those who keep saying, this is how I am, I don't know how to read, I'm sorry, that's part of what we are going to be, the mindset we're going to be breaking, so that you can go from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset. The Power of Now will be your first book of study for the month. Now we have 4 in total. Reason being that I couldn't really choose between The Alchemist and Ikigai. Talk about your purpose, right? Why you're really here. To the back of The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. It says to realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. And Ikigai talks about like the meeting point of of what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you are good at. That's what your purpose is. So I don't think reinvention will be complete if you do not know the reason why you are here. Put together these books together. They are about Ikigai is by Hector Garcia and Frances Miralles. That is about 179 pages. With this one, The Alchemist, there are books that you can put together. I don't think both of them together, 170, 178, 179, 79. 20 pages a day, sef. It's too much for you to read this too. You can read either of them. If you are absolutely on a time crunch, you can pick between the two of them. You still get something good from it. All right. However, it will serve you more if you are able to read the two of them. You can get audiobooks on YouTube so that when you are driving to work or running errands, you can be listening. The best experience we have come to find is when you are reading and listening to the audio version together. Oh my god, it makes you a speed reader, like you're very, very fast. And finally, for the third part of the program, you'll be reading Atomic Habits by James Clear. James Clear says you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. On the cover page, it says tiny changes, remarkable results. I do not expect that on this program you go from 100 and up onto 200%. Not at all. The goal is for you to continue to learn or change 1% at a time every single day. Do you understand? So atomic habits will help you get things to a place of ease, a place of importance. See, I marked the living daylight out of mind because there's so much to work with. It's something you are practically going to be applying in your life as you journey through. Like every single part is a nugget you can take and use immediately. This one has about 275 or so pages. 264. Okay, minus the let's just say 266 pages. Again, 10 pages a day should be done in like 26 days. That is still right. Reading is a habit we must like big must we must adopt as part of our reinvention program. Now you need a notebook because you'll be writing a lot. You'll need a notebook. I think you will need two, one for the sessions and one for your personal constitution, your book of life, like some people would love to call it, or a book of leaves, whatever it is. Just name it that, so that you continue to develop it every single day if that's what you want. Because there is it's what's called the ideal, what you ideally want to do, and then there's what's called the reality, what you end up doing, probably based on your experiences, where you are on your journey, or happenstances, right? Like we call it, like we say here, whatever happens, these things may life may happen, and then they'll get in the way of you getting stuff done. They would reflect in your personal constitution, on your growth journey. The personal constitution, it's an evolving document, one you must continue to work on or amend or adjust as you travel through life. Now, this is a journey. Reinvention and mastery is not a destination, it is a journey. You'll continue to travel, you have to pivot at some point, but remember ultimately to be flexible and learn to adjust and adapt as life happens. We've gotten the house cleaning out of the way. You need 2 notebooks, you need your 4 books. We're beginning with one of them. That's the power of now, right? 10 pages a day, and in a few days, 17 or so, you are done. Then you can even start the alchemy since you have time. So you can read these 3 in 2 months because they are like a snack. Like I said, you don't have to read everything in one day, but if you have the time to, it's okay. You can do 10 pages in a day incrementally. That can be your morning, part of your morning routine, right? You wake up, you say your prayers, you take your book and quickly read and get it out of the way before the day gets busy. There's a saying that the brain is keenest at dawn. I always prefer to read my book in the morning before my day gets in the way. Now let's dive right in. Do you have any questions so far? Yes, Mrs. Omolaya, 1% every single time. All right. If you have any questions on the recommended study materials, please leave them in the comments. Any questions at all? Now, the first part of the model says pre-tests, and debriefs. Now, your tests are going to cover four key areas. I'm trying to pull them out because they are ready. The assessment tests are ready. We're going to send them to the group chats immediately after tonight's class. Your personal interaction style assessment. How would you prefer for people to interact with you? Right? What's your, well, that about sums up your personality, right? Who are you? Are you introverted? Are you very boisterous? Are you sometimes drawn towards doing things that are tough? Are you reserved? Do you like to keep to yourself? The knowledge of this is very important, because if you do not know yourself, how will you now master something you do not know? We're going to be looking at your personal interaction style. We're going to be looking at your relationship connection preferences, what you call simply your love languages. How do you prefer to receive love? Now, you may feel like, this is not a love session or a dating or marriage or session, right? But it's important because how you receive love would inform how, of course, I am able to, let's even begin from here, how I'm able to interact or communicate with you. There are some people who love words of affirmation. If I commend you for putting in the effort, if I say well done for all the tasks you have done, there's a way it spurs you to do more. It motivates and challenges or inspires you to do more. What if I did not know that about you? And of course, I'm not able to relate to you, or because it's something that's important to you, I do not give it, I do not affirm you. Guess what? Is, will affect your productivity, whether you want it to or not. It's sometimes very unconscious. That's for me as your teacher or your guide here, let alone the people around you. How do you want to receive love from them? Do you love physical touches? Do you want people to just be away from you? Are you a highly sensitive person? You don't want touches at all. You just want to keep a distance. Understanding yourself to the very minutiae, like the tiniest little detail, will go a long way to helping you reinvent yourself and master. Because some of us master ourselves, because some of us have settled for less because we did not know who we truly were. Now, it's okay not to have known before now, right? It's a very good thing now that you're taking this giant stride and doing these sessions with us at the Lorry brand. It's a testament and affirmation to the fact that you want to do better, you want to be better. The next one is your personal beliefs assessment. What beliefs drive you? What beliefs power your existence? You may not interact with people because you may likely believe that people from a certain region, from a certain tribe, or a certain religion are a certain way. You may have slammed labels on people that have limited your ability to connect with them, whether at work, at home, or even in your friendships. Or for those of us that are married, we may not relate with our spouses at certain levels because of the beliefs that are why or drive that have been wired in us and that are driving us. All right. How do you interact with success? How do you perceive failure? What's your belief about this concept? I used to be scared of success. The fact that, oh my God, I may become famous, I will not be able to have a regular life. I can't say I got more on the streets and just buy because I love it. I have to censor what I tell to people because everybody's just looking for information from you to use to catch cruise, those sorts of things. What if I get too busy for my family, because they are a fundamental part of my life? Family and faith and excellence are two values that I hold dear, right? Excellence in family life, my faith in God that drives or powers my life. What if I lose all of these things that I hold dear because I am busy doing that? I would play small. I had to look for scripts that played into that narrative to keep keeping myself tethered to the small little part of my word that I had designed so beautifully for my own self. I started looking at women who, after the fact, were okay. I saw it from the point of view of the women that were successful, were either divorced, separated, or single. So I told myself, if I venture, if I as much as dare to succeed, I may have such labels too. I had to consciously, deliberately, intentionally break myself free from that mindset. And that's why I am doing this with you today, because I know that you too can heal from it too. Some people are afraid of poverty. Some are afraid. I know someone used to be very, very afraid of old age. She'll see elderly people and literally freak out. What beliefs are driving you? There are some people who believe that they can never earn beyond a certain or more than a certain amount of money. It's just a belief system. You will never can outrun your operating system. So find out what beliefs are powering you. Will be able to help you turn them around and arm you with better alternatives that can produce or give you the life that you are trying to get. What's your personal interaction style? How do you accept knowledge the way you learn? What's your learning style? Some of us are visual learners, so you may love. That's why I love physical books. I won't lie, like I love physical books a lot. I know they are very good. I know very good sources of audio materials, but I will still prefer the hard copies. And one of my daughter's teachers said for her it's the smell of new books, the sound of it when she flips her pages, the feel of it when she sits in the corner of her home and anywhere, or maybe on transit, and just read. Because that already tells you she's a visual learner, right? You may be somebody who needs to feel something, you're tactile. You need to feel something before it can sink in. It means that you would prefer a participatory form of learning, where the teacher would have you indulge, like when we were doing practicals way back in school, where we would have to indulge physically with your hands and touch this stuff. That's why learning aids are important. That's why for me, when I write, I always have notebooks like for all about everything. When I write, I tend to recall better. Right. So your learning styles will help us curate materials to be able to teach you better, and will help you understand yourself more, so that there are certain classes you will no longer sign up for. Whatever class you are going to be putting your name on or sitting in for, that does not accommodate your learning style, rather, you see, will not serve you, so you would not benefit from it. When you have learned about yourself, certain decisions become very, very easy. So that those are the four assessments you'll be taking before we go on to your debriefs. Now, before we do your debriefs, we have to work on the assessments, so that will write out a detailed report based on the answers you give. Please don't try and beat the system. Don't try and cheat your way out, because you can lie to everyone else, but you can never lie to your own self. So be as sincere as possible in your tests, because these tests are just to guide us in helping. They're not like a label, right? That you're introverted. I am an extreme introvert, but here I am teaching this class tonight. I taught a session last night on family systems engineering. You see, I attend physical classes, I meet people. Just means that we would now help you. We'll see where you need help more, so that we'll be able to guide you in building skills that would help you build up on the areas where you're lacking strength. All right. So be as sincere as you possibly can get, and get the assessments done as soon as you receive them. All right. Because it will take us time to write your detailed report. It's like you've gone to the lab, you've taken a test. The doctor would now, of course, the lab attendant or lab scientist would have to write out a report, which you will then take to the doctor, right, to now be able to administer the drugs that you need for you. So the report will be a gift to you. You can keep it to yourself and go through it at every time. Imagine after maybe 3 months. 3 months down the line, you go back and you look at your report, you're able to see, like, measure your own growth process and check for yourself. Oh my God, this is where I was 3 months ago. See how far I have come. So after we have written the reports, we're going to do a debrief session with each of you. That will be one on one with me, so that we're able to walk you through what each thing means and what will be required of you. All right. After the pre-tests and the debriefs, we're going to do okay. The self-discovery insight part, we're going to use a tool called the tree of life. The tree basically has the roots, the trunk, the the branches, the leaves, and the fruits, right? Right? So each of these parts of the tree represents different areas of your upbringing. A part of it talks about your parents. When we mention your father's name, what emotions come up? To amaze you that for some people it's hurt, for some it's shame, for some it's joy. For me, it's so much joy because my father has been a very great supporter of my work, not just now. In fact, he has been pivotal in, like, very instrumental in grooming me to this person that I am today. What comes to mind when you mention your brother, your sister's name, right? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? What are your bad habits, right? What are your limiting beliefs? What are your biases? What are your talents? What are your giftings? You must know these things about yourself, so that if there are shortcomings we need to start dealing with, like I knew of myself that I was afraid to succeed. I had to start working on that limiting belief. There were others too. I had a book that I labeled Self Mastery. I had to note that my limiting beliefs, my negative biases, what I had noticed that was prevalent in my upbringing, like in my family. What are the women in my birth line or bloodline like? How are they like? What have I borrowed from them that I need to start working or carving out of myself so I won't pass it on to my children? What good thing did I get from them that I have to consolidate on so I can bequeath to my daughters too? These things are important, especially because we are very big on legacy consciousness, right? Next one is trauma elicitation and healing. Hmm. When we talk about trauma, a lot of people get cold, right? You find out that they have this flight or flee or freeze response, and it's because some of these wounds are still very raw. They are still very tender. There's this tenderness they feel when you touch it. It's like a physical wound that is still there and it's very painful. When somebody comes to touch it, it gets the pain gets more severe, right? Some people are not even aware there's something that has happened that has buried the heart so deeply in them, or like pushed it down beneath the surface, that it will take a lot to bring it up. They may have forced themselves to forget because of how badly damaged they became because of whatever it is that happened. To be able to help you get past whatever trauma it is. Remember, we're saying here that it is a journey, right? One session alone may not be able to fully cover. However, it will bring it to the surface. And should you need further assistance, we'll be able to recommend probably a cognitive behavioral therapist to help you out, right? For this trauma elicitation and healing session, we're going to be bringing in Mr. Isaac Onoja to walk you through it, elicit the trauma. What pains did you go through at different points of your lives, right? At age 4, who were you? Did something significant, was there a significant emotional experience that turned you from a very jovial, happy child to one who's now very introverted? That session is going to be anchored by him because he is certified, like fully certified, to do all of that work with you. That is going to come at no cost to you at all. It's on the house. Then we're going to do your core values. To work on your core values, we're going to do a values card sort, physical or digital cards with different values to prioritize, so that you select the ones that are important to you. There are several of them, but out of the lot, you're going to pick two, because if you have a lot, which one will you now prioritize? Right? For me, it is faith and excellence, because these two power every other part of what I do. As a parent, excellence is key. Having integrity borders on excellence too. My faith is a key driver, right? As my belief as a Christian drives me to even be more audacious and have faith, believing that, of course, God is able to do through me everything He has said or has purposed or designed me to do. Your peak experience analysis, we are going to examine moments when you first felt the most alive, fulfilled, authentic, to extract your underlying value. Sometimes you need to elicit these things to actually get them to the surface so you'll be able to articulate them, so that when somebody does something and you're feeling a certain way, you'll be able to say, oh, that did not align with my value. That is why I'm feeling this eulogy exercise. A lot of people shy away from this because, oh my God, you are alive and you're writing your obituary. What do you want to be said of you when you pass? What do you want to be said during your funeral? Right? If you are able to write the end, you'll be able to live your life, like live it backwards. Begin now to live out everything you want to be said about you when you pass. Your values in action inventory. What strengths do you portray? What, like for me, well, of course, I this is my pledge to be as vulnerable as I can get, but be sure that I won't overshare. Not because I don't care about you or want you to learn, but because, like I said before, I am very introverted and I love my privacy a lot, right? Your values in action inventory. Now, some people know that I am hyper determined. Like, my in-laws at some point will call me gingerbread man because of more your ginger is plenty, that kind of thing. Once I set my mind to something, I want to get it done, I push with all my might. I fail at it, I get up and start grinding again. What values are in action for you? What's that thing people are always commenting you about? Oh my God, you're so good at this. You see, because we are so used to being with ourselves, we ignore, or we just kind of overlook the things we are great at because they are our zones of genius, right? We don't see them as anything over familiarity. See, finish. Let me just use that local term, right? So, what values you can even ask your friends, what about me, like what do you see in me that is commendable? Those can point you to your values. All of these are to help you identify what your values are. You can use all of them, you can use either of them. Either way, you get your results, but a blend of one or more will get you what you're looking for faster. Resentment tracking. What's that thing that when you see it, it pisses you off? Like you just want to do something about it. It pushes you to want to say something. You don't want to keep quiet. That can point you to the fact that your important values are being violated, and that can be a pointer to your values. Admiration reflection. What is the thing people admire about you, that they respect and are drawn to about you? Decision filter creation is the next one. You develop a personal framework for evaluating choices based on alignment with your most essential values. Okay, I'm going to take this course because it aligns with my value on excellence, on showing up, on teamwork or cooperation, whatever it is. See, when you know your values, there are certain rooms you will not be found in, there are certain conversations you will not participate in, that people you will not even associate with. We're going to use the tool called legacy mapping. What impact do you want to have in various life domains to clarify your underlying values that are guiding your desired contribution? What impact do you want to have in life? Remember, I've said that you can use one or all, or a combination of maybe two or three, just so you can get these out. They are so that you will not be boxed in, or you don't, when you have several tools at your disposition, you're able to just grab the next one and use it. Your values hierarchy development. You organize your identified values in the order of importance to help navigate conflicts when multiple values are at stake. You see, when you know that courage is a value you hold there, you will not be afraid or ashamed to comment when I post something on the group, or when it's time to speak up. When something is going wrong, when integrity is a value that is very, very important, that is high on your hierarchy of values, you will speak out because integrity is very, very important to you. Your regular values audit, periodic review of how your daily actions on time allocation aligns with your values. If showing up and putting in the work, right? Timeliness, punctuality is a value you hold there. You will not procrastinate. You see, these things just serve as a filter for you, right? They serve as a filter for you. The next part of the model is your self leadership and self governance. How are you able to govern and lead yourself? You have signed up for a class, whether it's paid for or not. Nobody is meant to remind you to come for class because you already have the schedule, you already know the time. You made a promise, a commitment to yourself. How do you lead yourself? How do you govern yourself? With this, for this, you're going to have your personal mission statement, a clear and concise declaration of purpose that guides decisions and priorities that will serve as an internal compass for daily choices. Your internal board of directors. This word is amazing. Your internal board of directors are like parts of yourself that you convene together where you are making decisions. The practical manager, the nurturer, of course, the highly motivated part of me, the careful, analytical, intuitive part of me, the perceptive part of me. All of these parts are part of my internal board of directors, right? They come to bear when I need to make decisions. We're going to help you, teach you how to use these tools so that when you need to make important decisions, you will know what part, or if you need a sum total of these directors to help you out. Because you don't have to take your business to social media, you don't have to outsource your critical thinking just so that you get results, right? Convene your internal board of directors and get the answers. However, if you cannot reach a decision even after convening all of them, who are your advisors, who are your allies that you can call on to talk to you, right? Because every sovereign state has ministries or allies that they can confer with, right? Your trigger response protocol. You're going to develop a standardized process for managing emotional reactions before taking action, such as take a deep breath, count 1 to 10 before you say anything. Or go to a safe space. I do that a lot. I call it my mind palace. Go to a safe space in your mind and just stay there. When somebody is saying trash, when somebody is just spewing absolute rubbish, and I don't want to dignify you with an answer, guess what? I get lost in my mind, playing with sand, doing whatever pleases my soul, just so I won't hear you. Because if I don't hear you, you will not elicit a response, to trigger a response from me. Your trigger response protocol. What will it be for you? You see, we're talking about reinvention here. These things you just used to leave them to chance. So when somebody says anything, for every buzz, they say ghost. Nah, a master, someone who's mastered himself, it's not unstable in his ways. All right. Your energy management system. You cannot manage what you cannot produce or keep or stop. So when you talk about time management, what you should be doing is energy management. How are you able to do tasks when your energy is at peak level so that you optimize what you're supposed to do, optimize your productivity? Your energy management system will help you track and optimize physical, emotional, mental, spiritual energy rather than just managing time. What systems do you have in place to manage your energy so that you will not be spending your energy, your resources where you are not supposed to be spending them? Your decision making framework, personalized approach for evaluating options based on alignment with values, long term vision, and current priorities. How do you make decisions? What mental models do you use? Charlie Munger said, to the man who is holding a hammer, every problem is a nail. If there's just one mental model you use, every problem is going to be a nail. If you're holding a hammer, right, every problem, my phone is bad. Yeah, of course, it's a nail. That's what we're going to walk you through. We're just going to introduce you to that. You see, every session has a week in between for you to unpack. And somebody asked me, how can we do all of this in 12 weeks? And I'm saying it is a journey. We're starting you up so that you can continue on your own afterwards. You're going to be with us in the community for 90 days. So wherever you're not clear, ask questions. Take us back is allowed. Until learning has taken place, the teaching and learning process is not complete. So ask questions. The greatest service you do to yourself or for yourself in this 90-day period is to interact with the, see, if you have to leave a lot of WhatsApp groups so that you'll be committed, if you have to leave a lot of associations or drop some things or put systems in place so you'll be committed, this would really, really help you. All right. Boundary setting practice. You're always saying yes to things you have no business whatsoever saying yes to. What are your boundary setting practices? Your systematic identification of personal limits across different life domains and communication techniques to uphold them. No. Dima Wobi always says no is a complete sentence. You don't have to explain it. Laurie, come, let's go to the market. No, I really do not owe you any explanation for why I don't want to go to the market with you. I can be kind enough to say, okay, I am busy, and that's it. We should learn to say no, protect our energy, protect our attention, protect our time, and protect our money. These are the currencies of life, right? Your inner dialogue restructuring. A lot of us are still playing the conversations that were said to us in times past that really, really hurt us, that we found offensive. While it is okay, like, okay, why it is normal to reminisce over or ruminate or ponder over these things, they are not serving you. They are limiting you. They are holding you back. They are keeping you tied to a past you don't want to remain in. Guess what? Your inner dialogue restructuring would provide you with methods for recognizing and shifting unhelpful rather self-talk patterns to more supportive and empowering internal narratives. How are you talking to yourself when nobody is there behind closed doors? Are you telling yourself you are useless? Are you saying the things your parents or your loved ones or people that actually cared said to you unintentionally from the limited or knowledge of whatever they knew? Or are you going to re-engineer and rewrite a script that you can begin to play, so that when you're down on you, when you fall, when you fail, when you falter, you'll be able to tell yourself, come on, girl, you did the best that you could. You would get it better next time. So when you tell yourself, I am afraid, you can pitch in immediately and say, but I trust that God will give me the audacity that I need to move on. What's your inner dialogue system? Your personal operating principles. We're going to develop clear guidelines for how you conduct yourself in various situations, reducing decision fatigue. If you have to make a decision for what to eat every day, what to wear every day, you see, they say on the average, an adult human makes up to 3,000 decisions a day. To reduce decision fatigue, what are the things you already have stipulated? Like for a year, I know that I'm pushing 4 goals. You're already there. So for every year, whether it's 2030, probably maybe when that time comes, I would edit it. But for now, from the much that I know, 4 goals a year, right? Your personal operating system, so that you'll be able to reduce decision fatigue. There are certain colors I want in my wardrobe this year. If there's any beautiful thing that doesn't fall into that list, I'm sorry, I don't need it. All right, I don't need it. Why do I need five? Excuse me, please. Why do I need five of the same color when I would have channeled the resources into doing something else? Or five of the same color of outfit, shoes or something, or bags, when I would have channeled the resources into doing something else. So I know that when my black bag is spoiled, what I'm going to replace is my black bag. That has also helped me in organizing the kids' closet and their spaces. So at every point in time, they're going to have 5 colors of leggings: black, navy blue, pink, purple, or red, or depending on the colors they love. But black, navy blue, and gray are very important because they would always have to wear those, right? So when black leggings pause, what are you going to the market to buy? That decision has been made already. It has been made already. School shoes, everything, right? Your regular self audit, structured reflection on alignment between intentions and actions with accountability measures for course correction. I have a quarterly meeting with myself where I reflect. Okay, this quarter, did I do what I said I was going to do? What did I not do? Where did I drop the ball? Because if you don't tell yourself the truth, who will? Right? Your conflict resolution template, internal process for addressing competing needs or desires within yourself to reach integrated actions. If you must master your world, you must first master yourself. How do you sometimes you fight with your own self? How do you resolve conflict with yourself? And how do you now extrapolate this into the relationships that matter to you, so that you not be having unnecessary problems or challenges or altercations with your loved ones, right? This is how I love to resolve conflict. Now, when you talk to me, when I offend you, you don't have to raise your voice. I need us to resolve it as soon as possible, because I don't want to have one start putting it at the back of your mind, of my mind, that I offended somebody. Now, number 5 is your limiting belief transformation. We're going to use your belief inventory process, the systematic identification and documentation of recurring thoughts that constrain possibilities, including their origins and impact on behavior. What are the recurring thoughts? Like when you think about money, what recurring thoughts come to your mind? Is it of lack, of abundance? What comes to your mind when you think about money? What's your belief inventory process? What always you can just, like, when it comes to mind, write it somewhere. At the end of maybe 3 days, look at that sheet or that scorecard, and oh, so this is what comes to mind when I think about love, when I think about family. It was the time before I got married, I was really scared of marriage, because I'm like, how can you stay with one person for how many years? Don't you get bored? What if you hate each other? What if it doesn't work? Like, what if he breaks up? There were a lot of things that were always going on in my mind, until, okay, when I now sat with myself and asked myself, really, why are you scared when you have not even done it before? And I started, of course, re-engineering my thought patterns to know. Your evidence gathering. How do you collect, analyze real world examples that contradict limiting beliefs to create cognitive dissonance with unhelpful thought patterns? If it's called cognitive bias, you go see what you define. I say na prayer. Do you understand? When what you are looking for, when you're looking for something, you are looking for something from the lens of the familiar. You're shelving it based on what is familiar. Oh, you want a bag, but because you're already used to black bags, you still go out and buy a black bag or a black dress. How do we how do you gather evidence? How can we break you from what you are used to, so that you can have images of transcendence? How do you want to look? If you are looking to reinvent yourself in the place of fashion, how can you overhaul? Okay, who can you be looking at that is very fashionable that you can learn from? What if it's in the place of analytical, creative, or critical thinking? Who is already doing it very well that you can learn to do it better from? Your belief ladder technique, incremental shifting of extreme beliefs through a series of increasingly empowering alternative statements that feel credible. What beliefs do you have? How do we build it up? Okay, for example, you won't just start from the first day and start saying, yes, I can do it. How do you grow 1% at a time, incrementally, until your self talk to yourself will be, oh yes, I really can do it, and it's non-negotiable. So even when people throw jabs at you or throw negative comments at you, what response is coming from you? How do we build up the ladder incrementally to get you to the point you want to get at the end of the 90-day period, or at the end of the 365 day, depending on how you want to exert yourself in this program? Your core belief visualization, imagery exercises that allow you to symbolically transform or release limiting beliefs at a subconscious level. There are some affirmations I play, like when I notice that I have maybe consumed or listened to negativity for a while, and it's now playing unconsciously at the back of my mind. There are some pictures I must swipe through before I go to bed to register the imagery on my mind. There are some affirmations I play on the loop when I'm sleeping to go help my subconscious mind declutter and get back up. And I must now separate myself from whatever sources gave me that feedback, or that puts me in that mental state. What pictures do you have around you? There's a frame in my room with my name and its meaning and what that means to me. The values the things that I want to see in my life. So when I wake up in the morning and I look up, I affirm those things to myself. Reframing practice, regular exercises to identify negative interpretations of events and generate multiple alternative perspectives that are equally or more valid. Now, I learned about this from, okay, let's use a scar. You injure yourself and there's a scar. Sometimes they're hypertrophic scars means that hypertrophic, rather, means that they grew keloids, or they grew bigger. Right after healing, there's a bigger scar that like a bump, or depending on the sensitivity of your skin, right? So that scar can either show you, I learned that from my husband, that scar can either remind you of the hurt, or remind you of how your body healed, or how faithful, depending on your faith, or how God came through for you and saved you from whatever caused you that pain. Reframing, man, is a meaning making machine. How do you reframe the things that happen to you? If stupidity meant something that was nice and kind, when somebody says you are stupid, will you still feel bad? They say broken people do not listen with their ears, they listen with their triggers. So now that you know that, okay, let's say MAD is making a difference. If somebody says you are mad, what to come to be that making a difference? Or somebody comes to tell you that you that could also be that you are the greatest of all times. So when you reframe certain things, certain words, guess what? People cannot get under your skin because you already have your own dictionary that you're working with. So when you're calling me gingerbread man, what I'm hearing is Laurie is an audacious go-getter. Will it piss me off? Why should you offend me, right? What if explorations? I was very terrible with what if. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if as I'm going now something bad? What if? Can we reframe those? Can we start exploring your what ifs and structure thought experiments that temporarily suspend disbelief to imagine possibilities beyond current limiting assumptions? What if I succeed? At some point in this class, I was asking myself, what if nobody shows up? And I told myself, I'll be here for the entire 30-minute period, whether anybody shows up or not. And then I asked myself, what if everybody comes? What if it becomes a phenomenal class at the end of the day? How about we explore your what ifs and replace them? What if you don't make it? We'll change it to what if you do make it. You see, all of these tools can intertwine to create a blueprint for you for how you begin to live your life moving forward, right? Your path dialogue, conversing with the aspect of yourself that holds a limiting belief to understand its protective function and negotiate new arrangements. There are some beliefs that actually serve us. My fear of success, my limiting beliefs around success served me, kept me small. I would ordinarily not be in front of strangers doing this, let alone in the night, right? It kept me tethered to that safe spot, the safety of sameness. That's what I call it, right? You keep being there because it serves you. How about we troubleshoot? Look at discuss with that part of you. Wait, so Laurie, this I don't know how to read, or I don't like reading, it doesn't help me anymore. How can I begin to change it? The next part is your cognitive restructuring worksheet. Systematic documentation of triggering situations, automatic thoughts, emotional responses, and more balanced alternative perspectives. Will give you this sheet so that when these things are coming up, take them down and you write the alternative by yourself, so that you are training, you are reframing, you are reprogramming yourself for your own self. Yes, you were talked down on, you were belittled, you were berated when you were a kid. It's time to reparent yourself. A behavioral experiments, deliberately testing limiting beliefs through small real world actions designed to generate contradictory evidence. Like I said about this car, right? What behaviors can you test with real world actions so that you see if these things you are learning are sticking? Your future self integration, visualization practices connecting with a version of yourself that has moved beyond the current limiting beliefs. You're going to write a letter to yourself that you're going to read to yourself, however frequently you want that to be. You're going to write to yourself in like 3 years. You have reinvented yourself, you have now mastered yourself, and from this point, you are looking at that person. You are continuing the adjectives you have used to qualify yourself. You are looking at yourself like you're already there. I use that image in my mind a lot. I look at myself in a certain space as a certain person. It literally lights time I do so, and it helps me to forge through situations I ordinarily wouldn't have dared to. Your personal constitution. We'll talk about your values to principles translation, your non-negotiables identification, your decision right clarification, your personal policies creation, your ethical framework development, your life domain standards, your personal declaration document, your regular constitution review, your accountability system design, and your integration rituals, right? The seventh part is your authentic self implementation, congruous tracking. What daily reflection practice can you use? There are affirmations I play every single day, like every single morning, because I want to be in a certain mind space when I get on with my day. I use about 5 devotionals and a journal. I journal like I have a faith journal I use every morning. There are certain things I must write every day, the same thing every day throughout the month, right? These are tools that have worked for me over time. One of the journals is on confidence, the other one is the strength for each day, the other one is on emotional intelligence, like that, managing my emotions, because I don't want to start my day already. I'm raz and erratic, right? The self implementation, your courage building exercises, your authentic communication templates, your identity integration work, your social context mapping, value based decision log, authenticity barrier assessment, relationship authenticity audit, personal brand alignment, integration practices, what regular habits or rituals that would reinforce your commitment to authentic living and celebrate progress in self implementation. When we talk about your self mastery, what daily reflection practices will you have? What habit formation systems will you develop? What emotional regulation techniques will you come up with? What are your accountability structures? What are your deep work protocols? I have a lot of D&D in place to protect my personal time. If you cannot reach me, you will not give me gist, amen. What's your experiential learning circle? What's your value aligned decision frameworks? What's your resilience building practice? What feedback and integration methods will you use? And finally, your growth, your continuous growth. After you are learning mastery, after you must have learned about mastery, the aim is for you to continue to grow. We won't just take you there and leave you there. There has to be a plan for continuous development. What's your personal learning curriculum? I have one in place for myself. What's your growth matrix dashboard? What's your regular review cycle? What feedback collection system will you use? What's your challenge portfolio? What experiences will help you leave your comfort zone or the safety of sameness to keep daring? That every single year I must learn a new skill. Every single year, at least one. What are your growth mindset practices? What mentorship framework do you have in place? Who are your mentors? Do you have any? What's your skill acquisition method? What's your environmental design, right? The strategic arrangement of physical and social environments to naturally reinforce growth oriented behaviors. And finally, what are your learning transfer protocols? After having learned myself, this is me sitting here in front of you, teaching this to you, right? Right? How are you able to transfer not just from yourself to others? In this case, how are you able to transfer from one part of your life to the other, or from your books or courses to real life experiences? How are you able to take this coursework and apply it to your life, apply it to the life of your loved ones, your parents that are looking to teach this to your children? This is the reinvention and self mastery blueprint in a nutshell. Every week we'll be taking this each session and looking at it. That's why you need to have it right. Go back and sit. We will send you the materials we used for that day. Go back and sit with them. You have a whole week, an entire week to look at them individually and collectively so that you can ask questions. Remember, we're starting a journey with you. I'm not saying that after 90 days you'll be reinvented and you'd have mastered yourself. It's a continuous process. You are going to be a work in progress. Life is a classroom, and the more you live, the more you learn. The day you stop learning is the day you die. So you're going to continue. That you read Paulo Coelho's book in April does not mean that you won't read ever again. You keep learning. You build your library so that you keep graduating and keep learning and consuming knowledge. That's the much we can cover on the introductions. Please, if you have questions, now is the time to ask them so that we'll clarify them and you can go prepare for the next session for next week. Any questions so far? Any question? I'll just sip water while I wait for your questions. Where are your questions? If you have questions, please ask. Where's everyone? Have you gone to bed already? Any questions? Well, in the okay, no question from you. And all right. In the absence of questions, I would yes. There is to put a lot of thought into putting this together so that you would you have a lot of aspects to work on because of course one's life is multifaceted. So we didn't want to just scratch the surface here at all. In the absence of questions, thank you so much for making out time to be with us tonight. We appreciate you. We celebrate the audacity. We laud you. We commend your audacity or the courage it took you to make the decision, not just to sign up for this program, but to commit your time and resources and energy to seeing it through. We're going to send the link to the replay to the group for those that were not present tonight. And if you were not present, I think it's only polite for you to tell us why. Why were you not here tonight? And an apology will be proper, right? Because that is a proper thing to do. Because of course we are reinventing here, correct? And make plans to be present next week. And as soon as you get your links for the assessments, please, so you give us ample time to work on the reports, answer the questions immediately. They won't take you more than 20 or 30 minutes at most for all four of them. Please just answer them and turn them in so that we'll be able to work on your reports and we'll book your sessions. We'll send you a Calendly link so that you can pick a time slot that you will be available at so that we can go through your debrief session and get you ready for the next session. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Do have a restful night. We'll see you next week.